used to think my biggest struggle was food. Pizza, chips, queso, those Texas Roadhouse rolls in Conroe, Texas with that butter. But after a brutally honest conversation, I realized food wasn't actually the problem. It was what food represented. Today isn't about nutrition, it's about permission. Because I think a lot of business owners and leaders aren't hungry for food. They're hungry for permission to stop performing. Now, if you've ever spent an entire week building your business, leading your team, showing up for your family, your kids, training, grinding, and then Saturday afternoon hits, heck, even Friday, and you feel like you've earned the right to let go, this episode is for you. Today, I want to share a realization that changed how I think about food, rest, and even leadership. Now, every single Friday and every single Saturday, I start thinking about pizza, Texas Roadhouse, and of course, my wife starts thinking about Chuy's, which just opened up here in Willis. During the week, I am dialed in, I'm structured, I'm planned. I'm using food as fuel. And here recently, this Saturday, we had our annual company crawfish boil. That actually wasn't a crawfish boil, it was hamburgers and hot dogs. And I had told myself that I was going to be eating one hamburger and one hot dog. And of course, when I showed up to the annual crawfish boil, I was in that environment, the burgers, the smells, the bread, the condiments, and everybody around you is just having a good time and laughter, and everybody's enjoying the food and the aroma, the smell. It automatically triggered me. So I ended up eating a burger, a hot dog, and half my wife's burger. Not bad, you may say. I was quite proud of myself. After that, me and my wife had planned that Saturday afternoon to go to Chuy's because she had earned a Chuy's date from me by hitting some particular goals that she had set at our insurance company and a massage. So I wanted to celebrate her. I didn't want to not go to Chuy's because it wasn't about me. It was about her. It was about what she wanted to do. However, I knew going into Chuy's, I started preparing my mindset that the moment that I sat down, I knew I was going to be getting the fajitas. And as soon as I walked into Chuy's, what happened? I was a little bit more tired. I was a little bit more fatigued. I was a little bit more exhausted. And I wasn't starving because I had just eaten 2 to 3 hours before that. And then automatically we sat down and that jalapeno ranch dip hit in front of me within a foot. My wife grabbed her first chip. She started dipping it. And then I grabbed that first dip and I started eating it. And I was like, this is so good. And then we got to talking. We just had a solid quality conversation. And before I knew it, we had already eaten, well, I say we, I had already eaten an entire basket full of chips before the meal came out. And immediately I realized, I was like, why is this happening? And I remember thinking, I have nothing else planned the rest of the afternoon. I don't have to make a phone call. I don't have to do a podcast. I don't have to lead anybody. We're getting a massage after this. I have nothing else planned. So then I stopped and I asked, why did I keep eating when I wasn't hungry? I had eaten the chips. I had eaten the jalapeno ranch dip. I had eaten the fajita after fajita after fajita. And I asked myself, why did I keep eating when I wasn't hungry? And I realized I wasn't hungry. I had finally given myself permission to stop performing. Now let me explain. Monday through Friday, I am disciplined, I am structured, there is growth, and I'm using food as fuel. Now, if I'm eating 4 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with a snack or a protein shake during the day, I'm fine. But then come Saturday and Sunday, that usually ends up being 4 meals a day, 7 days a week, that's 28 meals. Once Saturday hits in my brain, I'm thinking mission accomplished. And I realized that food became, for me, the symbol of rest, not the source of rest. Now, you listening to this, maybe your food or your version isn't food. Maybe it's alcohol, shopping, scrolling on social media, working more, isolation. The habit isn't always the problem. And sometimes it's carrying the weight of something deeper after reflecting on this. And the question that really made me stop scratched my head, and then I journaled. That really changed my outlook. Was, what am I hoping the next few bites of this chip, of this burger, of this pizza going to give me that the first 20 didn't? So what are you really hungry for? Is it comfort? Is it freedom? Is it celebration, connection, rest, permission? And I'm not trying to become someone who never enjoys pizza, because I love pizza. I love burgers. I love good quality food. Don't get me wrong. And I know you probably listening to this, enjoy the same types of foods or different foods. I'm trying to become someone who can stop while it's still tasting amazing. And one of the things that I've learned is the goal isn't perfection. I'm not trying to be perfection, because I've done that before and it's miserable. It really comes down to being aware, in alignment with the person you're becoming. I want to be the person that eats the chip, the jalapeno ranch dip, whether that's 5, 10, 15 minutes, for 5 minutes, that is satisfied, that doesn't have to keep eating the basket after basket after basket, eating fajita after fajita after fajita. Because let's be honest, when you eat that chip or that jalapeno ranch dip or that pizza or that burger or that dessert, when you take that first bite, it's like butter in your mouth. It's so delicious. And all the triggers in your body says, I want more. But if I'm being honest, that 15th bite, that 20th bite is not the same as that first bite. So I have to take a step back and reflect on that and realize that my identity and who I'm wanting to become is somebody that enjoys the food, but doesn't have to keep eating chip after chip after chip. And it's not perfection. Another thing that I like to do is asking myself and preparing before I go and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner is, how do I want to feel after this meal? If it's like what happened to me at Chewy's, I felt awful. I was getting a massage. We waited 60 minutes. I was sweating in the massage. I was uncomfortable. I was inflamed. And I asked my wife, I said, was it hot in the massage parlor? And she looked at me like I was like, no way, dude. It was cool. Well, it was because I had overeaten, and she didn't. She wasn't eating in moderation, but I was uncomfortable. So I want to challenge you listening to this. How do I want to feel after I eat this cake, cookie, dinner, breakfast, lunch, whatever it is? How do I want to feel 90 minutes later? And that's something that's going to help me slow down when I go into these meals on the weekends. And maybe today isn't really about food. I know we've talked a lot about it. Maybe it's about trying to satisfy an emotional need with a physical solution. So this week, don't change your food. Don't go out hot. Don't go completely throw everything away in your pantry. Change your awareness. Before the next bite, ask yourself one question. What am I really hungry for? If this episode resonated, please share it with another leader, business owner, and entrepreneur who needs to hear it. And if you've been looking for a room where leaders have conversations like this every single week, not just about business, but about becoming that person behind the business, we'd love to have you join as a guest at Level Up and Live. Appreciate you guys being here. Level up and live.